on.
Oh,
Hello, Lady Nancy. Hello,
hello.
everyone. Welcome to Tea Across the Miles. I'm Lady Amy Mitchell with Houses of Windsor, and this is Lady Nancy Rodriguez of Cup and Crown. I'm in
Yes.
Florida. She's in Virginia. We're both cold.
Yes, yes, you have gotten some historically low temperatures. My brother in Savannah
Yeah.
got like 2 or 3 inches of snow last night.
Oh,
So
wow.
he sent a
Apparently,
darling in Savannah, Georgia,
apparently in Pensacola, they got like 10 inches.
in Pensacola.
Yeah, people
Oh
were
my
showing me,
gosh.
they're like, yeah, they're family members that are there. And BNI this morning, they were showing me pictures and videos from their phone, and they're like out actually sledding and like making snow angels, like
Oh,
enough snow to play in.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I
They
was
should
like,
do it.
that's
This is
awesome.
historic. This is
I
fantastic.
know, right? That's so
That's
fun.
awesome. That's awesome. Right now, you can have it. I've
Right.
had it. We've done it. I'm over it.
It's hilarious. I
Um,
know.
it's
It's
19 degrees here today, so rather chilly, a
yes.
little bit.
And that's just the temperature. Is there wind chill?
There
Cold?
is no wind, I thank you, God.
Okay. Okay.
No, and in fact, there isn't a cloud to be found, and it is beautifully sunny,
Okay.
a beautiful blue sky backdrop. But it's a little frigid.
Yeah, it's a little
I
overcast.
can take if my refrigerator breaks today, everything can go out there and still be good.
That's it. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, I know. It's like when we were visiting Indiana and at my brother's house, like we keep all the pop soda out in the Kansas soda, like in the garage. And it's like it gets to a point where you're like, well, now I have to worry about it freezing, like, like
Right.
too
Yes.
cold.
Very true.
Or-
Very true. Absolutely. Gosh, it was years ago. Shortly, it was about a year, 2 years after we moved here, and some of our best friends had moved into one of the houses up the street. And we got like more than a foot of snow,
Oh, really?
and their refrigerator went out. I think that's what it was. They lost electricity. We didn't,
Oh, right, right,
part of the
right.
neighborhood lost it. They did. Um, and I think when it came back on, something had happened with the refrigerator where it died.
Yeah.
Um, so our boys were best friends, so we'd gone over to play and have dinner one
Yeah.
evening. And I said, "Well, what are you doing without a fridge?" And she says, "Come here." And she has this from the family room. There's a door that goes outside to the back porch,
Yeah.
and the snow drifts had come in. So when you open up the door, it was like the snow had sloped down up
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
door, and she's got milk sitting in it and orange juice sitting in
That's
it. And
awesome.
all the things. And it just
That's
open
great.
up the back door and that's a freezer. It's really kind of
That's
funny, but
amazing.
yeah, no, we don't have it that bad right now. And like I said, I'm kind of because it's not snow anymore. It's ice. It's ice.
Right.
So the roads are cleared, thank God, because Virginia is quite rehearsed in this. They know what they're doing.
Okay.
So yeah, I just got back from a trip. I had to go furniture shopping today. So
Wow. Gotcha.
yeah, been out there and do that. So right into tea, because I know that I've given us a bit of a time limit. I gotta go get somebody from a school bus.
Yeah.
Um, but
Okay.
so we last met before Christmas.
Yeah.
And I had shown you, I had gotten from World Market the Whittard
Yes.
Advent, yes, the Advent calendar, which is just lovely. And you have been to Whittard's in Chelsea.
I have. Yes, I've been to their stores. So they have like a little chain of stores over there. So I don't know which one I've been in, but I've
Okay.
been in one.
But I loved when I said from Whittard and you said from Chelsea. And I was like, oh, she knows. She
Yeah,
does.
Whittards of Chelsea, of
So
course.
good, of course. Who hasn't heard? But they do offer some things online, and I think they were through Amazon when I was doing some checking.
Okay.
But yeah, you're going to pay that shipping and handling, and you're going to have to wait some time because it is logistically, and
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
coming from England. So,
yeah.
so there were actually, even though there are 24 doors or windows in an advent calendar, there were only 12 different kinds of tea, if you will.
Okay. Really? Oh, okay.
But
Oh, because
within
there'd be
each,
repeats. Yeah.
exactly. So the first 12 days, and then on the 13th, you repeat again. But within each door, there were 2 pouches of tea. So in essence, you got 4 bags of each tea.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I found every one of them delightful. I really enjoyed all of them. There was actually, I gave you a rose tea,
Yes.
which is black tea with rose in it. I found that a really lovely, even for morning, it was
Sounds
nice. It's
amazing.
not overly fragrant. The rose isn't overpowering it, but it is present, and I really enjoyed that one.
Okay, awesome.
So if
Yes,
you get
I'm
to try
looking
that, but today we are going to try, I've already ripped my bags. So we are going to try the masala chai, the coconut chai, and then the festive breakfast.
Okay. Yes. And let's see. So I have them already. Are you adding water now?
I can, absolutely. And as I
Okay.
said, my tea bag broke, and tea drinkers out there know that if you over steep a tea, it can taste bitter and acrid. So we're going to start with that one
Okay.
before that tea goes bad on me.
Okay. And I put the packaging underneath my teacups on the saucers.
Precisely. That's
So I
exactly
remember
what I've
which one's
done.
which.
Yes, 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 yes. Because if I don't,
I know.
I don't know. I don't
And
know.
I even got out my little cat milk
Oh, that is so cute. Very, very cute.
for it in its head.
Is it new or have
Sometimes
I
it's
seen
false.
this one?
I feel like you've probably seen it like years ago. I got it on our honeymoon in Curacao. It was just like the funniest little thing.
Very
Um,
cute.
yeah, so I even got some milk ready.
Good, 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 good. I will
I
be
don't
doing
always go to
mine.
the trouble.
Yes, I'm going to be doing mine. I'm going to save flame because I forgot to bring my sugar in. Can you pardon me a moment?
Yes,
You
absolutely.
have the floor. Talk something.
Okay, all
Talk
right.
something. Why don't you give a preview of maybe of what we're going to be talking about? Because
I will.
we've been texting
I
articles
know,
to each
I
other for
know.
a
We've
couple of
got a
weeks.
list.
Yeah.
So we will try to get to everything today. I am aware that we need to talk about the latest with Harry and Meghan. Harry's being the trial, or I should say the lawsuit against Murdoch, like the newspapers. And then Meghan, apparently Vanity Fair did an article on her essentially saying she's a mean girl. Let's see, there's just a little bit of speculation about George's schooling. Trevor told us more about Buckingham Palace. And then we have, let's see, we were going to talk about Queen Anne's husband and probably more. Those are the ones I have written
Well,
down.
and did you say that already? The oops that Kate.
Oh, right. No, I didn't
Yes.
even. Yes. So Kate's
Kate's
the
oops.
sun, get the sun madness.
Yes, exactly. Just totally blown out of proportion. Absolutely.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm anxious to it's good to see you and Trevor the other day.
Yeah, I
have
know
not,
that was wonderful.
yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Um,
And he was sitting, his backdrop was the Fortnum and Mason
yeah.
tea room. It's funny because I am finally I have pulled way back on my substitute teaching.
Right.
I do go tomorrow. I also interviewed at our parish church.
Yes.
And I have been hired. So I told them I'm not
Okay, great.
available until after mid-February because I'm trying to get some house projects done first.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
just to take a break. And I come to you today. I don't have the house alone. My son is here, but he's leaving here shortly. Hubby's at work. Yeah.
So you're almost
And
alone.
so for the most part, I am home alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was going somewhere. I was gonna bring something up, but yeah, good to see you and Trevor. So I'm at the point. One of the things I'm also doing right now is scrapbooking from my last spring's trip to London, to England.
Yeah.
And I was yesterday up to my trip into Fortnum and Mason.
Right. Have you guys?
Yeah, so I was doing that
Have you already
yesterday.
scrapbooked Ireland?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Long time. 2 volumes.
Okay.
Our overseas trips are usually 2 volumes.
Okay.
And I'm very ornate with my pages. And one of these years,
Yeah.
we get to visit with each other. I'll have to show
I
you.
know. Yeah. I was like, I want to see all your fun
Yes.
scrapbooks.
Yes.
You can see my mess of photo albums that aren't organized. Well, some of them are sort of organized, but then it just like, yeah. Essentially, if it's not from an actual trip, right, then it's just like, here's pictures of like, and then like 5 years later, here's other pictures.
Yes, yes. I had one of those startling thoughts that wake you up in the middle of the night that won't let you go back to sleep about the boxes of photos I have upstairs in my closet that never got scrapbooked.
I know.
You know, second child came along, third child came along, a few moves came along, life came along, and it's like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna take a sip if that's okay with you. This is the masala chai.
all in chat. Yeah, and I haven't used this cup in a while, so I pulled this one out. My
What
little
is that?
queen.
Oh, there's a profile.
Yeah,
Yes.
the long may she reign.
Excellent. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And unfortunately she won't because she's dead now. But yeah.
she did reign for a long time.
Yeah.
She did.
Longest reigning queen,
Yeah,
right? God
exactly.
bless.
She
Absolutely.
still fulfilled it.
Now you like chai, so I'd
Mhm.
love to know what you think about these.
That's nice. That's good. It's like a smooth. It's still not. It's not like
Peppery?
spicy. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not like
Yes.
spicy, peppery. Yeah, that's a good word.
Yes. Mine needs just a little more sugar. I know I shouldn't, but
I
I
know. Like
shall.
I didn't. I did, of course, put sugar in it, but I waited to do the milk, so I at least would taste it before that. But I think I'm gonna add some milk to it and
Mm.
see. I think that'll go nicely with it.
And mine is great because it has tea leaves all floating around in there.
That's great. So, oh, and tea business news,
Sure.
which I'll have to like just touch on lightly, but so, and this one's related to drinking tea. So, there is a company here called the Wedding Venue Map, okay? And it is essentially a chamber of commerce for wedding industry people in Central Florida. So it has a
Okay.
funny name because they really started out as like, if I unfold this, it's giant. It's huge, but it literally is a map of wedding venues, and they had it sorted out by like, price and what style and blah blah blah, right?
Mhm.
And they have a website too, but it started out as this. And then with the pandemic, essentially all of a sudden, like wedding vendors wanted to be part of it. So it wasn't just venues anymore. And so like now it's like a whole wedding industry, like florists, photographers, everybody who is within the wedding industry, uh, who I guess I don't know, whatever. I was gonna make a judgment call, but I was just like, everyone who's in the wedding industry, a lot of really great people are members of this thing called the Wedding Venue Map, and they had their big 2025 like launch for the new cover. What was it? Last Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays ago, something like that. And so I got to have, I'm a new member. I've been to some of their events over the years, but finally decided I'm going to be a member this year. We're going to, refocus. I'm not doing farmers markets anymore.
Said yes. Mhm.
Refocusing so on the bridal market. And they were like so excited to have me because it was like they felt like they've been like talking to me for years and like seeing me, and they're like, oh my gosh, we got to get you a table at the event, like, last minute. So I was like,
Right.
okay. So I was in the main ballroom, which was great because that's where the caterers were set up and the bar. So you enter on the first floor. It was a really nice historic venue in Sanford called,
Mhm.
I think, Venue 1902. But so everyone enters on the first floor, and they had lots of great vendors down there. But then you go up to the ballroom, the main floor, and that's where everybody wants to end up because that's food and drink, and then me and like a couple other people. But it was like a prime location, and so I met lots of really great, interesting people. But there was a company who they do event staffing, but what they were doing just like at their table, just because they were serving up like coffee and tea, and they
Okay.
had just a special like like a set tea and coffee drink that they were doing. It wasn't like you can just order whatever. And so I
And from what? I'm sorry, what were the vessels that they were using to serve tea? How were they preparing the
Sure.
tea?
Oh, it's hot water into a paper cup, like, it's disposable cup. Yeah.
And then Amy comes in.
I know.
Sorry,
Well,
Lady Amy comes
I
in.
know, I was their first like tea customer, and I wasn't even wearing my fascinator. I wore my crown to this thing.
Oh,
So,
I love.
yeah.
Okay.
And so they were like, she's like, oh, I'm so nervous to make tea for you. I was like, it's not a big deal. Like, it's fine, whatever it is.
I've been there.
Yeah, yeah. And so but so they had what was it? Oh gosh. Maybe Bigelow. What's one of the other one? Maybe it was Bigelow. Anyway, it was like a lavender like honey. I'm trying to think what it was, but it was like herbal. It was uh really good. And then she put rose petals on top of it, like loose rose petals.
Yes, yes.
Now I'll say it was delicious and delightful. The only catch was like then trying to like not get rose petals stuck to your face. I needed like one of those mustache cups to keep the rose petals back.
Yes, 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 yes. Those who don't know what that is, there's your homework. Look up mustache.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes,
look it up.
absolutely.
History. So, yeah, so that was what I was thinking when we were talking about like the teas and having tea leaves in your cup. I was like, well, I had
Right,
rose
right.
petals in my cup that were loose. And yeah, so I managed to drink it all and leave the rose petals at the bottom, but it was good.
Okay.
Yeah. It was really funny.
I'm going to inject right here
Yes.
again.
Hmm.
We have talked about before, and I wish you would consider making Lady Amy's tea blend. I've
I
considered
know. I've yet
doing
to do
something
it.
like that. I know I haven't done it for the museum because they said that they don't know if they have the funding for it, and we'd really have to
Right.
spell out some really specific details. But if you were to come up with something that it's yours, you don't have to go through anybody
Right.
to figure it out. So
That's true. And I guess for me, it's probably a good time to do it because now I'm like meeting with lots of new people and I'm usually bringing tea with me. So I had like, it was a BNI one-to-one yesterday with Dimitri Luke of Enlightened Tutoring. And we ended up doing like a video podcast with like on his page. Or it will be on his page. We recorded it. And but so I brought tea and they drank the Platinum Jubilee tea, he and his coworker. Uh, and I had brought the cherry rose green tea as well. And they both were like, we're like Earl Grey type people. And I was like, well, this is like Earl Grey with extra. And so they said, yeah, so they were all about that and loved it.
mhm, mhm.
Um, but one other cool thing, so there were a lot of cool things out of the wedding venue map event. But one of the cool things is that on this Friday morning, I have a meeting where I'm getting to have breakfast at the Ritz Carlton with the
Okay.
senior catering like manager who I met there, and because they do tea there, she said like set by appointment.
Yes, yes, they
She
do.
also said they don't have the storage for a ton of teacups, right? She said they have about enough for 35 people maybe. And so we were
Interesting
talking
for the
about,
Ritz. Interesting.
right,
Okay.
so that's why we were talking about is like, well, I rent out my china, so I could be a backup source for them, which would be great. But yeah, but I get to go and she invited me. She's like, if you come in the morning, we can go to breakfast, like, at the Ritz. I was like, all right.
Right.
So that's what yeah.
Oh, totally. That's the absolute way to go. Sure.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Yes, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So not doing farmers markets. You're looking more to do tea parties now while you consider answering that. I'm going on to the second one, which is the
Yes.
coconut chai. I
Yeah.
liked this one a lot. Again,
Oh, right, because yeah.
coconut is not overpowering. It's just present. It has a lovely smell, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Kind of buttery. I
That
think
is
there's
right.
coconut.
It is buttery because it's not
Yes.
coconut. Yeah.
Like a coconut oil, maybe.
Right, right. Oops, I forgot to sweeten it.
Makes all the difference.
Yeah, right. I'm like, this isn't
I,
any good.
I've said it before and I've said it a million times and I'm just going to say it a million times more. The seventh Earl of Twinings would say that sugar dulls the palate. Well, here's to dulling my palate because it just makes the tea taste better in my
It
opinion.
does. It tastes so much better. I
It
know.
really, I think it's and we've talked about this too. It's kind of like, why would you eat steak without salt?
Right,
Salt enhances the flavor of tea. Well, I
right.
can't help it. I feel like the notes and the flavorings in flavored tea, the notes are more presentable
It
and
is.
more
Yeah.
pleasant
Mhm.
when you add sugar to it. Otherwise, there's sometimes I don't taste, I'm like, I don't taste
Otherwise, it's just
it.
like a hit of tea, right? Like
Something, yes, that there's an
comes out.
aroma,
Yeah.
but the flavor's not there.
Right. That is good. And it is interesting because it's not super like coconutty. Like
It's not, it's
the
just present.
aftertaste is kind of more coconutty than the drinking of it.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, chewy. Yeah.
that's good though.
But I do like that one. In fact, I like this one more than I like the masala chai.
Oh, really? Okay. I think I like the masala chai more at this point.
And I can understand that because
I'm a chai
you
girl.
are you're a chai girl.
Um,
Amy needs to come up with her own chai, and it's called the
oh,
Not So
that's very
Shy.
true. Yeah.
She's not shy chai. Shy. Hi, chai. We're gonna we're gonna keep working on
That's
that.
great. We'll work on it. We've got a guy in my BNI group that is like great at coming up with silly like mottos for each like person.
Okay.
So I'll have to put Frank on the on the case.
Put him onto that. Put him onto
Yeah.
that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay, so we have festive breakfast next.
Yes. Mhm.
Let me sweeten that.
Make sure you do.
But as we go into our royal topics, so yes, so we can start with Kate and the get the sun madness.
Right.
So for those of you who don't know, uh Princess Kate was visiting the cancer treatment center, right, where she had been treated, and she was there just visiting, right, and like visiting patients and whatnot, and showing her appreciation for how great they do what
Yes.
great
And
jobs they
yes.
do, and
And to lend encouragement to the other patients after she's been through it herself. Yes.
exactly. And so she was quoted talking to a patient about it was within the realm of talking about keeping a positive attitude. Like like for her, people said keeping a positive attitude made a great difference. And for her, it was like she, wanted to get the sun, like get loads of sun or something is what she said.
Right.
And
Right.
then of course the trolls came out and jumped and decided, oh my god, like with chemotherapy, you can't go out in the sun. That's really, really bad for your skin. And she did not say that we're going out in our bikinis and we're getting tan on the beach.
No.
She just said getting loads of sun, which as you pointed out can also be from indoors. Like don't sit in the dark.
Yes, just meaning sunlight, the ambiance of sun and that cheerfulness.
Yes.
Did you were able when we were speaking with Trevor, you pulled up the actual quote.
Oh yes, I did. Yeah,
I
it was
don't
from the
know.
article that you sent me.
Yes, and I'm going back and looking.
Okay, so yeah,
Plethora. I
I know.
stalk Amy, those who die. I actually stalk Amy. I'm constantly, look at this, look at this, look at this. Um,
And now
oh,
I
I
do
just
too. Oh.
yeah, I just came across another article we're going to talk about.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
here we go. So, la 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 la. Royal fans demand answers after Kate Middleton seemingly contradicts common cancer guidance.
Can I'll interject and say
Please.
royal fans are not demanding answers. It's
No.
royal trolls. No actual fans of the royals, I believe, actually think that she meant what everybody, what the bad people are claiming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, what does she say?
It's where she talks about they said to be positive.
Yes, exactly. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Very nice to meet you and best of luck. You're in the best of hands. Everyone said to me, please keep a positive mindset. It makes such a difference, she said, adding, I really felt like I needed to get the sun. You need loads of water and loads of sunlight. And so yes, you could take that as in when she says I needed to get the sun, going out for 5 minutes of sun, 10 minutes of sun, even just in a shaded area, that can still, now I don't know, I'm there at chemotherapy, I don't know anything like that, but I think she was speaking more along the lines of, saying, that it can be a very difficult time, staying positive, feeling ill, feeling sad, feeling depressed, your life has been put on hold. You can't have that quality time with your family, with your children, with your young children. And she's a doting mother, so understood. Having to cancel all kinds of engagements that she probably would have liked to have undertaken, feeling possibly like there's a lot of that burden and that weight on you. And then to wake up in the morning possibly feeling ill
Yes.
from the chemotherapy. There's sometimes you get this itching that doesn't go away, the burning from all of it. I mean, you are no longer the you were.
Right.
So feeling that depression, waking up in the morning and wanting just to stay under the covers. I have been there. I don't know, not from chemotherapy, but just from situations in my life where I've felt very down or depressed, where I'm like, just keep the lights off and I'm going to stay in this bed the rest of my life. And I think all she meant was open up those curtains, get the sunlight, because that can make a difference in your mental well-being, on your outlook, and can sometimes just give you the energy and you go, okay, you know what? It's daylight. I need to be doing something.
Right.
And I think that's all she meant by it.
I agree. Yeah. And I mean, it also could just mean, like you said, go have a seat outside in the shade, or take a 5-minute walk, like get,
Yes.
and again, it's a very British way to put it, get the sun, you know, it's like nobody
Yes.
can say that over here.
Right, right.
So, yes. So, you know, our verdict on it is those are trolls that are making a thing about nothing.
Yes.
And we royal fans support Kate
Mhm.
and do not think that she did anything crazy.
Here, here. Cheers, Kate.
Okay.
Long
So
live
now-
Kate.
Yeah, so now for our festive breakfast, let's see.
I've not tried that one. Now it just has an aroma of,
It just smells like tea, right?
smells like black tea to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, so what's the festive part?
Not getting it, right? Now in the package, they also had a Christmas blend, or the holiday blend is what they would have had. And that would have been your tea that had the cloves, the cinnamon,
Right,
a
right.
winter spice type of tea.
Right.
This just says festive blend, and I'm not picking up
No,
anything.
so I'm reading the bag. It just says blending crisp, aromatic Ceylon leaves with the famously brisk tea of Kenya. So it is just a breakfast blend, and
It is just a breakfast blend.
they just called it festive breakfast because they had to put it in a Christmassy thing.
Absolutely. You know what? And while we're on that subject, can I ask you, I'm going to go grab something that I
Yeah.
want to, I'm going to, two things. I'm gonna show
Absolutely.
you.
Yes.
So it's along the lines of tea
Yes.
and English breakfast blends.
Okay. Yes.
So-
So they tricked us. Whittards have tricked
Yes,
us.
I would say so. It's like, well, throw something in there while you can. So English breakfast tea
Yes.
is made up of 3 kinds of tea: Ceylon,
Mhm.
Assam, and tea from Kenya,
Right.
basically from kind of like the provinces, India, Kenya, and what did I say? Assam.
With
Well,
Ceylon.
Assam and Ceylon were kind of Indian. Ceylon used to be Sri Lanka, or is Sri Lanka now.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay, so depending on who makes it and what is the content of each 3 of those, you find your blend that you like. So I have found the stronger Assam content, the more I like it, to the point that sometimes I skip the rest of it. Just give me Assam tea.
Okay. Yeah.
So-
You're an Assam. Yeah. You're an
Yes.
Assam girl.
Yes, yes. It's a very, it's stronger, it's maltier, there's a
Yeah.
sweetness to it. So my friend, my British friend, Emma, she's from York. She grew up in Yorkshire, or lived in Yorkshire. That's where she got married. She's a Marine wife. She lives here now. And she brought me back. If you don't follow Betty's, do follow Betty's. Betty's Tea Room in York. It's gorgeous. Think of, this is the Fortnum and Mason of
Oh,
York.
okay.
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 And she went over the summer. She brought me this gorgeous Art Deco box
Oh,
back in
wow.
the days.
That is
It
really cool.
is the most heavenly tea because it is strong in Assam.
Okay.
I'm
So
like,
it's
I
the
use it
perfect one
sparingly.
for you. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Boy, did she pick, she knows me. Then I'm at World Market and I see this,
Yes.
Thompson's Family Tea. And what does it say right there? Assam and Kenya blend.
Oh my gosh.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Fabulous breakfast black
And
tea.
it's Irish
Love it.
breakfast.
It's
It
It's
says.
Irish breakfast. Yes, it is.
So it's bold.
I looked them up online. Yes, you can order this on Amazon. They also have a Titanic blend because it was blended in Belfast where the Titanic was built.
Oh wow. Okay.
I
I
think
thought
might
maybe it
have-
was like the tea they served on the blend they served on the Titanic.
I know, right? I don't know, but this is truly another really,
Another
really,
great one.
yes, very much so. Yeah, it's those 2. So going back to this festive blend, so what they've done is they've taken out the Assam and they kept the Kenyan, and the Ceylon tea is what you're saying for this one.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So
okay. It's a black tea.
Yeah, so it's good, but they took out your favorite one.
They took out my favorite one, and it's a fairly, I'm not gonna say bland. It's not as
Yeah.
strong. It doesn't have the maltiness that I like.
Doesn't,
That
yeah.
is,
Right.
yeah.
So an Irish breakfast tea is that usually high in Assam? Because I do feel like the Irish tea is always bolder than
It is bolder. And I do wonder, it's something I would have to look up, and it does say when you try to look at the differences online, it says, well, Irish tea is a little maltier. And it
I think
probably has a
probably
stronger,
that.
Assam has it is a strong tea. It is a much stronger tea. And I think I read one time too, it also has a higher caffeine content.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong about that.
Okay.
It's not funny because
I
it's all
think
the
I
same
feel
tea
like
leaf.
it is. I feel like I tell people that like it definitely I feel like perks me up more than an English breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I wanted to talk about so Harry and Meghan.
Yes.
So oh,
What now? Because there are a few things on Harry and Meghan we
I
can
know,
talk
I
about.
know. It's like, well, first, real quick back to the Kate thing.
Yes.
Jack Royston of the Royal Report
Yes.
also pointed out, so he didn't actually talk about that madness at all.
Okay.
And so I was like, great. But he did point out when he was talking about basically he's like, no matter, what you feel about health care and whatnot, he said, what is unique and neat is that the royals do go to NHS hospitals. So she goes to the hospital, the same hospital that somebody else who makes very little is going to go to.
Hmm. Okay.
And so he was just saying, like, they don't go to some rich, fancy private hospital, and that it's just kind of a nice, like, unifying thing, right? And that means that, like, she's there to say, like, these are excellent doctors, this is excellent staff, like
Right. Right.
they treated a princess, like, you're in good hands.
Right. Right.
Type of thing,
Exactly.
right? So I just thought that was a neat thing to point out. But with okay, so Meghan, I guess there's a Vanity Fair article, which I literally just listened to the Royal Report on this yesterday, this morning.
And I haven't had a chance. So,
Yeah, it was like brand new. And so I haven't had a chance to look, but essentially they talk about Harry and Meghan. Uh, Harry, they mainly just like tell a bunch of like weird little things. Like apparently he had uh proposed, and I don't know how serious this proposal was because it sounds like an offhand, like just brainstorming.
okay.
We're talking about like podcasting and stuff uh for like Spotify or whoever. It was he threw out there like having where he interviews sociopaths, and he mentioned like Putin would be one of them. and and that he would talk to them about what they like, how they got to where they are, like how they got to be how they are. And he acted like, he didn't turn into a sociopath, so like why doesn't he talk to them and figure out, their thing. And I'm like, there's no way that that was a real proposal. There's no way
There's
that
no
he
way.
yeah, I was
No.
like, that had to have been like if they're throwing things off, like against the wall, right? Or like a funny like joke. But anyway, so they like talk about that. And then they say that Meghan, yeah, is apparently, uh, she's got former employees or whatever here that have uh said she is mean. So she doesn't. So apparently, this is what they say. They say she doesn't yell. She actually does more of like a whispering, like yell kind of thing or whatever. Like sort of,
Only right now.
yeah.
No, no, no. Yeah. Okay. All
And
right.
I guess if she ends up like, we'll say if you're on the bad side or whatever, right? If you do something that she's blaming you for and she doesn't like, then she sort of just like gives you the cold short shoulder, like just sort of like cuts, just kind of becomes like I don't know, distant or whatever, right?
Okay.
Um and I guess like talks about you behind your back. So that's the thing that I feel like sounds like mean girl-ish. But again, so again, we're back to like the whole, allegations of Buckingham Palace staff talking about the bullying and Meghan always being anti-bullying, and we're back to more people saying that she's mean, a mean boss or whatever.
Hmm.
And I agree with again Jack Royston's opinion last time that this kind of went around was that that's all fine because all can be true. All things can be true, right? Like she could have felt bullied, they could have felt bullied, right?
Right.
Like everyone could be feeling bad, not like blaming the other person, but she could have taken some responsibility, right? And have been like, there's pressure on me, or like everybody's, I'm not good at managing people. Like I don't know how to manage people kind of thing. Like there's lots of
Mm-hmm.
people that are in business that are
Yes.
like great at business, but they're not good at managing, or like,
Right.
take a leadership course or something, take a management
Yes.
course
Right.
kind of thing.
Right.
If you're just winging it and you have all this outside pressure on you, like you're you're not necessarily going to do your best. And they said that because she is kind of quiet about it, that they think that that's why Prince Harry doesn't even think that she's mean, because he doesn't even pick up on it.
Because
Like
he's used to the yelling. He comes
yes,
from the family. Remember that he comes from the loud,
yes,
express my anger,
yes,
know.
shouting,
Yes,
yes.
shouting.
And
Right.
so, but also he pointed out, which I thought was very interesting, was that they said that you know, it's so much that he's almost like put Princess Diana's image on to Meghan. Like he's projected so much that like she's in, like, he has to protect Meghan, like no one protected his mom, like,
Right. Oh,
and he
sure.
ends up
Sure.
saying how with people who have passed, you also, I feel like the word he said, like angelicize or something, like,
Yes, I can see. Yes.
yes.
We,
And
we did the same.
so,
John F. Kennedy, we did that with him.
right,
Everybody
yeah,
seems to have forgotten that the almost disastrous Bay of Pigs, he was
right,
assassinated, and suddenly he is the one person that everybody
right,
aspires. We should all be like John F. Kennedy. I
right,
don't
right.
think we
And
should be.
wasn't
We
he
can
like a
harmonize
womanizer
too.
as
Yeah,
well? Yeah, that's what I thought was
absolutely.
like his whole thing. So it's like,
Absolutely. He
yeah,
had
and
a father who
people,
told him, get laid whenever you can.
exactly.
Seriously. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yes. So people, yeah, so people angelicize those who have passed.
Yes.
But he was saying, Jack was like, the issue with that though is like Megan's alive. So like she's a human. No one's perfect. None of us are perfect.
No.
Like, so you can't treat her like, it's like it's a weird psychological thing, right? Like hopefully they both go to therapists. I don't know what they're doing.
I
Hopefully
right.
they each have therapists. Um, because these are things where I think he must, because he said it one, I don't know if he still goes, but I feel like he's referenced that there was a therapist that told him, like, back when he was watching, like when they first left royal family, and like he was
Mhm.
obsessing over all the bad news, and Megan's like, stop looking at it, don't
Yeah,
talk
put him on a
about it.
digital diet. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so they told him, like, you have an impulsive or whatever behavior, like where you cannot not look at it, right? And obsess with it. And like you're upsetting everyone. Like you're upsetting yourself, but also
Yeah.
like your wife keeps telling you,
Right.
do not talk to me about this. And then he's
Right.
like, yeah, but they said this. Is there any truth to it? It's like, so yeah, so
Mm.
it's like he's got a lot to sort out with his mom, and like
Yes.
separating it from
Yes.
your wife, even though there
Yes.
might be some similarities of like the media, right?
Yes.
But like they're very different people, like they're very different, right?
Yes. Right. Right. Absolutely.
Very different backgrounds, like upbringings, everything, like work experience, what
Yeah.
age they got married, you
What's
know.
that? What age they got married?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So yes, so that's the Megan thing.
Yes.
The latest, which is breaking news this morning, is that Harry's lawsuit that I guess he started in like 2019,
Right.
dragging on. He has
Right.
had a few of them, and it is against, I forget which a specific paper it is,
I'll find
maybe
it.
like the Sun
Oh,
something.
where are my glasses?
Yeah, and it was, but it's, owned by Murdoch. And so,
The
so,
sun.
so what is, this is the Sun? Yeah.
Sun.
So what is, I feel like key for Americans to know, because I did not know this. Okay. So I think he's already settled out of court, but here is why. in the British court system for privacy lawsuits, that's what Jack wrote.
Right, right. Privacy. Mhm.
Privacy lawsuits. They essentially, if the if the person offers the other person a settlement before court, right? And then that person says, no, we're still going to court over it.
Okay.
Whatever is like the end result, I forget how the math works, but essentially the winner ends up paying like more because they like counted against them that they didn't take the money in the first place. It's a real bizarre thing. It's not like the US at all.
Interesting.
So I believe, if you've got the article open up, there's
Do.
numbers in there somewhere of how much, if they went to trial, potentially he's at a risk of paying like multi-millions of dollars at the end of it, versus I believe he's walking away with about 14 million, which makes sense. All he ever really, the main point of it was just bringing to light what the son did, right? He's brought it to light. He has a family to take care of and expensive security to take care
Mhm,
of, right?
mhm.
So the only issue is that that when William settled out of court for something else with Murdoch,
Okay.
Harry was like, I can't believe he gave in, like, blah blah blah. And so it's kind of like, that was short-sighted, Harry. Like, you shouldn't have said that to him, because now you have to do the same thing, kind of.
Right, right.
So that's the only thing that Jack Royston was pointing out, was like, well, you shot yourself in the foot with that one, of like making that comment about your brother, when now you know how the courts work or whatever, right? Like,
Yes, yes. Yeah, it says here, had Harry turned it down
mhm.
and continued the case through to its conclusion, he could have been left paying around 10 million pounds, which is around $12.4 million in legal costs, even if he won, because of British legal rules designed to encourage claimants to settle.
Mhm.
So going back though, Sherborne, trying to figure out who Sherborne is, restated in a line of attack in a statement at her trial in 2014, it said that when I was editor of The Sun, we ran a clean ship. Now, 10 years later, when she's CEO of the company, they now admit when she was editor of The Sun, they ran a criminal enterprise. So I guess he has gotten an unequivocal apology. Is that what I read?
There's a long, yeah, I feel like there's a very long apology. I didn't actually read it, but like a long official apology, and I guess
Yes.
admitting what they did.
I can read that. Today, our apology to the Duke of Sussex includes an apology for incidents of unlawful activities carried out by private investigators working for The Sun, not by journalists, during the period of 1996 to 2011. That's a win.
Yes, that is.
That is a
And that's
win.
such a long stretch of time that they were
Oh my
being
gosh.
like,
Seriously.
right?
I know. I know. So
That's
yeah,
even
yeah.
that's even before Diana died. 96. She didn't die till
You're
97, right?
you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
So this is stretching
Absolutely.
back to when he still had his mom.
My gosh. Wow. That's huge.
Yes. Yeah. So it is a great, yes, a great win. And, you know, I feel like it's just sort of like whatever, like, as far as him like shooting himself in the foot of saying something against his brother. It's like, brother, like, again, they're on the world stage. So, but
Yes.
as far as like average people go, like, people are hypocrites all the time, or
Well,
like, or belatedly realize like, oh, right, like,
maybe that was the right thing or wrong thing to
right,
do. Yeah, is it exactly. There can be hypocrisy, but I think there's a lot of, you know what? When I spoke that, I didn't know what it was. I wasn't educated enough. Now I understand, and now I know why that. And
right,
I think that's why sometimes, we got to listen to the other side. We have to understand that, no different than what did Kate mean by sunlight.
right,
Sometimes we say things and we don't always choose the right word, or we have a
right,
different definition of that word or something.
right, right, exactly.
Um,
Because once again, we're all humans, and so we make mistakes.
yes,
Right.
yes, absolutely. So I'm
Um,
going to go back to two things on Kate,
please.
if we're
Yeah.
not finished. I mean, if we are finished,
Oh,
excuse me.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So with the
Okay.
Harry thing, it's like great. He wins money.
Right.
And yeah, doesn't have to pay a bunch of money, which is just crazy.
Yes. Although I no doubt he has probably spent thousands, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know,
So
even if they're picking up his legal costs, there are other things there, incidentals and other things that go into that time.
so and they did say so, or Jack did say so. Basically, what happens is they, this has been ongoing forever, and then they like get to the start of the trial, or like to the judge before the trial starts, and they both sides asked for like an extra hour or whatever, and then they asked for another hour, and then they like kept asking for more time, and the judge got annoyed, and he was like, "No, you guys have had so much time to figure this out. Like, we're going to trial." But neither side wanted to do that because apparently uh like legal fees all of a sudden like shoot way up the second that it's a trial and it's not pre-trial
Sure,
stuff.
sure.
So both sides were trying to like figure this out. So what they did was they like filed an appeal against like the judge, and like to essentially get their way. So the judge like essentially had to be like, okay, I guess you have more time. Like, but so Jack was saying again, if they had to end up going to trial, well, they basically pissed off the judge. Like both
Right,
sides.
right.
So they really waited till like, the last minute to like work something out.
Seriously, and if I can just be snarky for a second,
Yeah.
that Megan's endeavors have not panned out enough for them to continue paying these legal fees.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
So,
not yet.
not yet. So, two things on Kate Middleton. Yes. Kate Middleton, Princess of Wales, apparently is being allowed to uh, uh, give a royal warrant, which
Oh,
hasn't
great.
been done for a Princess of Wales. I think, did I read it was like 115 years, something
Yeah,
like that,
something. Yeah.
1905, something like that.
Right.
And it has to be granted by the king, that whether or not the Prince and Princess of Wales or any other member
Right.
of the royal family can offer a royal warrant. Royal warrant means that you have your signet, your cipher
Right.
on products. Twinings has
Yeah, I
it.
know. It's like looking for
Fortnum and
Twinings. Yeah, I
yeah,
know what you're
Twinings,
saying.
Fortnum and Mason, certain clothing lines, things like that. And basically, you're getting literally a seal, a stamp of approval from the king, the queen,
Right.
whoever.
Has
So,
it right there, like by appointment of,
yes,
his or
yes.
her majesty. Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. So it looks like Kate is probably going to be given her opportunity to do so, which is great. And everybody's sitting around speculating, what's it going to be? What's it going to
Oh,
be?
right.
It's going to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
particular clothing lines. She does not need to put her cipher on a clothing line. Whatever Kate wears,
I know.
you
People
know,
snatch it up anyway. Yeah.
yeah, it's already written. She's
Right.
wearing this. She's wearing Alexander McQueen. She's. So, but anyway, what are the things that she's going to put her cipher on? So I'm standing by waiting to see.
Right.
But the other thing about Kate also in the news was big headline: Kate Middleton was spotted touring a London school, fueling speculation that Prince George won't go to Eton after all. So is Kate, and having read the article, basically, especially since this cancer scare, does she want the children to be closer? Well, they are a close-knit family. This is not like going back to viewings of The Crown where Queen
Where you're
Elizabeth wanted to keep
constantly sending
Charles.
them off to boarding school.
Exactly, things like that. Elizabeth said, let's keep Charles close. And, Lord Mountbatten said, yes, he's going to stay here. He can be close by. And Prince Philip came in and said, absolutely not. He's going to go to my
Right.
alma mater in Scotland and da da da. So, is that the possibility now? Again, the article says that they think it was her, that a particular school was closed down for a special guest of honor for a private viewing, and
Oh, okay.
never revealed who that was. So who else, might it be? I guess it could be other people, but so yes, is it a possibility that George is going to stay closer?
Yes.
We'll
Which I
see.
think is great, right?
I do
Like,
too. Right? Yeah. Why? I think. I mean, William probably had a good experience, or maybe he didn't. Maybe he's thinking,
yeah.
no. But again, this is a different family unit. She is a different mother to
Right.
her children. She comes from common stock,
Yes.
millionaire common
Commoner.
stock.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yes.
Well, and you're right. And I think like, I think based on what we hear out of Harry, I guess, William did fine in school and did well. You know, Harry was the one that struggled, but I bet the way that Princess Diana was, she probably would have preferred them be closer. I don't think she wanted to send them
No,
to eat.
no, they were her lifeblood.
Yes.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think she would have kept them closer.
Yeah.
Uh, I want to go back to another art. I'm strolling through all the articles I've sent you in the last
Yes.
few.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So the horrific and uh detrimental fires in Los Angeles, just horrible.
Yeah.
So Prince Harry and Meghan seen out and about with the crowds. We brought this up with Trevor the other day too.
Yes. But yeah, but we should
Again,
address it officially here.
exactly. So, haters gonna hate, and I'm gonna say that every time. Whether you like them, whether you don't like them, they were called tragedy chasers, disaster chasers. These two showed up in plain clothes,
Right.
baseball caps. It does not to me look like they were trying to, come
Right.
out and exploit their fame for this purpose. They went to ask, what can we do? Whether it was there to physically hand out sandwiches to homeless, I don't think that's what they were doing. I think they went to see what are the needs, what can Archewell,
Yeah.
our
Yeah. Yeah.
charity foundation, what can we do through Archewell to help the
Right.
situation? And there are people that just were screaming, crying. They have no business being here. They're just there for the fame, for the fortune. They're standing right next to Jose Andres, whom I mentioned before.
Right. Yeah.
Swell guy, stand-up guy. He's a restaurant mogul, one of the world's top chefs. Super friendly, it seems. His at least his public persona seems that way too. He's out there. Nobody's out there criticizing Jose Andres for being out there to try to help either. But these two show up
And
and
there, I mean, tons of I swear there has to be tons of celebrities that have done this on different days, right? It's LA. Why
yeah,
wouldn't, and people are like, oh, well, they had to drive, 2 or 3 hours or something to get there. I was like, yeah, because they cared. And like, I think maybe it
yes,
was something I heard, maybe it was Jack Royston said something about like, maybe when they left, like there was something for them to do, but by the time they got there, like there wasn't anything to actually do that day, kind of thing, right?
right.
Because it took so long for them to get there. But that's not against them, right? It's like
Correct. Yeah,
yeah,
well, and they have young children at home. You got to figure out, child care, things
right,
like that. It's not just let's drop everything and go. I don't
right,
know how easy it is for them. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but this isn't. They didn't go before the spotlight. They didn't run out there in fancy clothing. I
right.
don't. You
Didn't
have
go
not
out
seen.
right away. Like it had
Yeah,
already been burning for what, over a week or something. Like,
you don't see them in front of cameras and grabbing microphones, saying, hey, CNN, look at me. I'm over here. I'm doing this. Why
yeah,
don't you interview me? I can tell you my perspective.
right,
None of that was done. And that to me would be the ambulance chasing. That
yeah,
to me would be the looking for the spotlight. They're
yeah,
not spotlight rangers in this case. They are just looking to help. And that's how Harry grew up. And that's
yeah.
what she wanted to be. And I think this was genuine. And I think that was really mean
Yeah, it's just in
spirited.
his nature, right? Like,
Yes.
say, when certain tragedies would happen over in England, right? The Queen would
Yes.
go,
Yes,
right?
she would. Absolutely.
Like you
How is
go
it
out
different?
of like, solidarity, support kind of thing.
Yes. Yes. Of
It's
course, people
it's
would criticize her for there was criticism.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, would you rather them like I feel like if they just stayed Montecito and didn't say anything about it, right? Then everyone would be like, they don't even care because they live so far away. It's
Yeah. They took in their wealthiest friends to stay with them. And I mean,
I
yeah.
know people were saying like, I guess they're helping people or letting people stay there, but it's their friends. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't you start with your friends staying with you? Why
I'm
are
gonna
you
go
so
and take their vagrants and
they're not gonna go like even random people who I'll say are rich but not famous or something, right? Like that they don't actually know. Those people probably have other places to go. Like it's not
yes.
like Harry and Meghan have the only house that they're like
No,
opening up.
no, absolutely not. And when you again you have children at home, you're not going to open your door to strangers.
Yes, right. And your friends, if your friends need it, obviously your friends are the ones you're talking to first.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yes.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm trying
Okay.
to see if there's
It's like we
anything.
got 5 minutes. Just so you know, or you've got 5 minutes.
I can stretch it to 10 easily,
Okay.
possibly even to 15. I can stretch, I need
Oh,
to be
okay.
walking out the
Perfect.
door. Actually, I need to walk out the door by 3:15. So that gives us about 20 minutes
Okay.
to actually hang up. Let me grab my keys and run. Um,
I love it.
so I think the one that we haven't touched on, okay, so this is not British royalty, but they're distant cousins through Queen Victoria. I just have to show this picture because every time I look at it, it's just unreal. So this is
Oh,
the
yes.
Queen of
Yeah.
Denmark. Can you see this?
Yes, I
If I
can
do
see it.
that,
Yeah, move it a little bit centered more. There you
right?
go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
There
want to
we
get
go.
that clear.
Yes, I see it. Yes,
Gosh, they're beautiful people.
they
They're
are.
just beautiful people.
Yeah, they are. And like just everything is like perfect in that picture. And it's like,
Absolutely. And I just look at that and I'm like, God, that's just so beautiful. It says first official gala portrait of King Frederick and Queen Mary. And I think my comment to you was they couldn't look more perfect if Disney had drawn them up as the king and queen of Arendelle, which is everybody knows has got a little girl that's frozen.
yes, yes,
But
that's
I
hilarious.
just had to show that picture.
That's so good.
So the other hot water, because
Yeah,
that's basically what it all is, unless you want to talk about Princess Anne first and her
sure.
husband.
Yeah, we can have a softer note, I guess, of so Princess Anne's husband, which now I like need to look up and see what his name was again. Which brings us to our point of so uh the yeah, because there was a news article. Okay, so of course the article says Royal cancels major trip as the firm faces another health setback. So of course they catastrophize it, right? And it's like, oh
Oh
my
yeah, I'm
goodness,
thinking, oh,
you
it's
know,
gotta be the king
you're
or
like, who has yeah, you're like, oh no, who has cancer now, right? Like, so it's not that. Princess Anne's husband, so he's Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence.
yes.
Yeah, so they were supposed to go on a 2-day visit to South Africa. Princess Anne ended up going on her own because he had let's see. He injured, what did I say he injured? A torn ligament. So it's like and it was while he was working on their estate, right? So he's probably doing something outside. They're a little bit older. He got injured physically and then they act like, oh my goodness, like the Royals canceled something last minute. It's like nobody's ever paid attention to him. You can't act like this is a huge deal. So they even say in the article, Sir Tim is often a discreet support at his wife's side as she travels up and down the country and across the world, which often earns her the title of the hardest working royal. So, yes, we always talk about Princess Anne. I literally have never even thought about her husband
Who's
having
her
one.
husband? Seriously.
And apparently he is so discreet and stands back and is happy to stand back that like he's essentially also the hardest working royal if he's going with her everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. Right. And he must be. It's her second husband.
Yeah,
That is clickbait if ever there was.
I know. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
so that was the royal story club pulled that stunt, but
Yeah.
it
Well,
but
how
it
about
but it taught us who he is. So great.
yes.
Sir
And then I'm
Tim
sorry.
Lawrence. No, that's okay. I was
Yeah.
just saying Sir
Sir
Timothy.
Timothy. Sir
Yeah.
Timothy. So I'm going to show this for two reasons. But first, I sent you, all it was a screenshot of talk about clickbait again. So here is Princess Anne.
Yes.
What a gorgeous coat, hat, and
Yes.
pin that she's wearing. That woman, she's always been at the height of fashion, and
Yes.
she never disappoints. Um,
Yes.
I also want to say happy belated birthday to um, Countess Sophie, Duchess of Wessex. I just love her
Oh.
name. She's so great. Monday was her birthday.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and
Lovely.
she's also she's somebody, I think of next to Kate of all royals, I would love to go to lunch with her. I would love to have tea
Yeah.
with Countess Sophie. I just
Yeah.
think she's again, I'm not going to say common stock, but she is, she's also, she and her husband have really stepped up.
Yeah.
They've raised a couple of great children. Their daughter, who's been in the news
Yes.
recently, also very proud career in the military. And some people saying like following her grandmother's footsteps,
Mhm.
as Princess when Queen Elizabeth
Yeah.
was princess and
Mhm.
things. But She is not seeking titles. She's not seeking entitlement. She is getting down and dirty and the camis and the dirt in the
Yeah,
face
they
and
show
stuff
her
like
and
that.
they show
Yeah.
them like with the rest of her team, and like they've all got like the
Yeah.
blood stuff or whatever smeared on their
Yes,
face.
yes. I just want to give out a quick shout
Yes.
out to God bless my Marine officer's son also, who
Oh, right.
Sunday said he's going into the field for the next few days with the temperatures getting down to 6 degrees at night. And
Oh my gosh.
so I am very anxious to hear from him in a couple of days. I mean, he's not even serving in a third world country.
Right, right.
And I'm like,
Already worried.
nerve damage and frostbite is a real thing. So just
Right.
just saying that he's
Just in
not
case
far
anyone
he's
didn't
not
know.
far from my thoughts. He's not far from my thoughts. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have also really stepped up since the Sussexes stepped away. And
Yes.
that's not me jibing them. That's just me saying since they stepped away and they have
It's a
all these royal
fact.
appointments. Yes,
Yeah.
they've really stepped up and she gave up a career to spend more time as a front face for the royal family.
Right.
So yeah.
Now wait, sorry, hold on. Who is, you said the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge?
Didn't I say that right?
Yeah, but that was, so who are the Cambridges now? Because it was William and
No,
Kate.
I'm not Cambridge.
Okay. West,
Edinburgh.
huh? What was it?
The Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Okay.
Yes, which is
Who's that?
that's Countess Sophie, Count Sophie and Edward.
Oh,
Because remember,
oh, you're right.
yeah, Prince Philip
Okay,
passed. Yeah, his title went to Edward.
yes, now I remember.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. I did say that right.
Well, no, it was fine. What's funny is in the interview thing that I did yesterday, I was talking about the royals, surprise, surprise, and I was explaining that like when they got married, they were named like the Cambridges and the Sussexes, and I was like, well, but then the Queen died, and so the king, Charles, who was Prince of Wales, went up to King, and so that spot's open. So then William, so now they're the Waleses.
Yeah, so the Waleses became the Windsors, the Cambridges became the Waleses.
Yes.
The Sussexes will stay that way.
Yes.
And Edward and Sophie, whatever they were, they're now
they're
the Edinburghs. Yeah, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was, so I was like, just stick with their first names because that doesn't change.
Countess Sophie. I don't know. There's that
So
to me
cute.
has such a ring. I love Countess Sophie. Okay, let's go on to Buckingham Palace renovations.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So Trevor, so at Friday.
Oh, he had a brilliant perspective. I loved his perspective on that. Please go ahead.
Yes. So at Friday tea time last week, that Nancy got to be on for.
Like 10 minutes.
Yeah, she was or we were talking about Buckingham Palace and let's see. What were we were comparing it to the White House, right? Because we were talking about how people were in an uproar about the 56 million pounds that are.
Shall I read the headline?
Yes, please read it. Yes.
I will read the headline. If I can find the headline. Where's the headline? Coming. No, that's six. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I can just
right
here. Royal family's $56 million windfall infuriates Brits choosing whether to eat or heat from an expert. Okay. So I send this to Amy, and I'm going to say, like I did the other day, Amy usually does not show her teeth. Amy's very neutral. She tries to be the peacemaker. Amy, I got a different tone from Amy, from Lady Amy when she.
Yeah, Lady Amy almost snapped.
Yes, she did. So I without rereading your text, and I want to hear from you too, I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier, the thoughts that I had on this. If this were the White House is an historic building that is essential. It is the symbol of American democracy, American politics, and our history. If the house needs to be renovated, and it does frequently, because it's an historic home, it's made of, there are parts of it that are made with antiquated materials.
Yeah.
Things like that. if it comes to saving the White House, yes, Americans will want to do that. Why don't we get in our panties in a wad about that?
Right.
Put it that way. Um, for the most part, I'm sure some people have, some hems and haws about it, but because that house belongs to the people, it does not belong to a president. The
Mhm.
president, the sitting president, gets to stay in that and live in that house with his family. That house is meant to house and entertain dignitaries and hold
Right.
special state events. When I say state, I do mean countries coming together. The house is not just a residence, it is also the
Right.
West Wing. It is
That's
things like that.
right.
If it needs to be renovated, it would get renovated because it
Right.
needs to be done. Those renovations are decided not by the president, although he would be consulted. But that is decided by the Historic Preservation Society and the House Curator.
Right.
Buckingham Palace is the quintessential, next to Big Ben and the Tower Bridge,
Right.
the symbol of England. England's tourism stems from the monarchy, from the history that it holds, from the kings and queens. Not all of them have lived in that palace, but it is today the symbol of British monarchy. If that
And you're right, sorry, that you brought up a good point that it's also a space to host dignitaries,
Yes,
right?
it
Like
is.
it's
Yes.
not just a home.
No.
Yeah, it's like, so where are they going to do that if they don't do it in Buckingham Palace, right? That like people will be happy about.
Well, exactly. Be happy about it. Now, I just want to say I was doing some research on St.
Yeah.
James Palace which is right around the corner. I didn't realize as I'm doing my scrapping, I didn't realize I passed
Cool.
right by Clarence House, which is where Charles and
Yeah.
Camilla. That's like it's right.
And isn't Kensington kind of close too?
It's a little further away. When I say further
Okay.
away, if you're in a car, it's going to take you about 10 minutes to get there. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, the
Yeah, yeah.
walk it's going to take maybe 15 minutes, I should say. But
Okay, that's what I
as
thought.
a
Yeah.
walk, yes, it's a little further away. But you
Okay.
have Buckingham Palace, and you come down the Mall, which they call it. There's the walk along. You come through St. James Garden, and there's not Lawrence, it's a Lancaster House right across the street from Clarence House, which shares a block with St. James Palace. St. James Palace also hosts charitable events. It's where, if I'm not mistaken, Prince George, the current Prince George was, or Catherine, maybe it was Princess Catherine, one of them was baptized there. It's where Queen Victoria and Prince Albert got married in the Chapel Royal of St. James House. So they do have other residences, but when the typical American or worldwide spectator
Yes.
doesn't know what St. James Palace is. They don't understand the difference between that and Kensington Palace and Windsor Palace. And I do.
Right.
That makes us
But when they're,
so-
yeah, but it's like, but the world, right? When something is happening there, what balcony do they stand on? What building are they
Precisely.
at?
Yes. What has the gorgeous ornate? Where do they hold these changings of the guard? The
Right.
most popular one. This is the symbol of Britain.
Yes.
The house needs to be renovated, regardless of who's living there. So what gets people up in arms is, yes, economy is bad. Economy is really bad in England
Yeah.
right now. The Britain is really, I know it's really hard for them. So to heat and eat versus updating the palace. Now, they didn't just decide yesterday. They are not starting renovations next year. This started years ago. It's a 10-year project. They are in the middle of it. And all of a sudden, somebody's got to make fuss about this, about how much it's costing. I'm going to let you take it from here. The problem that people have is because it does belong to the royal family. The royal family lives in that. It's not like the president will leave when he's not elected or reelected a new president. This is for the royal family and for their heirs. So that's why,
So it's like a little different, but
yes.
But so the whole to eat or heat thing, that, I've said is like, it's unfortunate and it might be at a higher volume than usual, but I've heard that phrase before in prior years. I honestly think I might have heard it on, that Scottish show that I like so much, Still Game.
Oh, yes.
Because they're like pensioners, in Glasgow. And so I think what's crazy is that it's just people who are quick to pair the two things together that are not related. They're not associated. They're not spending that money on renovating Buckingham Palace. That money is not going to the people who are choosing to eat or heat. they
Right.
are still going to have the exact same problem, whether that money's going there or not, because of the way
Yes.
that budgeting works and the government, whoever's choosing to do this. It's not like the royal family said, hey, we want to fix up the house, like give us such and such money, right? I mean, clearly, like experts and whatnot are involved,
Yes. Yes.
and the
Yes.
people who are really in charge of the purse strings, right?
Right. Right. Absolutely.
So yeah, they benefit from it because they need somewhere to live, but also they themselves are symbols. So like they halfway belong to the country anyway,
Hmm.
So it's like, all right, well then put them in the house that the country owns, kind of thing,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And Trevor had two really, really good
Yeah,
points. But first of all, if you took away the monarchy, if you took, if you said, we're not going to renovate this and that house crumbles and falls to ruin, you don't get the tourism. These people say monarchy, we should stop paying for them, blah, 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 blah. Okay, take your monarchy away. Take away a good chunk. It's going to be a lot more than $56 million. That
right,
$56 million comes, a lot of that money that's coming in is, it's all part of, England's economy
right,
and the money that comes in and out of there because people come and pay for it.
right.
One of the things that Trevor said was even if you don't love the royal family, if you are not a monarchist, you still, when you go to London, you go by to see the palace.
That's
The
true.
other thing
Yeah.
he said was, he asked you and I was,
Yes.
would you be willing to pay $1 to renovate the White House?
Yeah. Yeah. To save the White House.
To
Right.
save the White House, would
Yeah.
would each one of you, let me just say, I'd throw in $5 extra for
Yeah.
the person
Right.
who didn't want to do it or couldn't afford it. I'd do it, fine.
Sure. Right.
And he said that there are approximately 57 million people living in England. He said that would be like asking each one of them to pay $1,
Right.
a
Right.
dollar
Yeah.
each of them for that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was brilliant.
That was a good way, yeah, to look at
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
yeah, it's like they're paying much more in taxes for other things, right? So like if
Yes.
a little bit is taken out to save the palace, which helps your economy a ton because of tourism. Like
Yes.
if you start getting rid of these things, like you've got to at least keep it going as a museum, right? Like think of
Right.
the
Yes.
Tower of London and other places, right?
Right.
These places have to be kept up, like Parliament, the Houses of Parliament, that and Big Ben, right? They
Yes.
redid that, but like what people aren't upset because a royal person doesn't live in the clock tower.
Yeah. And,
Like,
and and then they've opened up the Buckingham Palace for tours, not
yes,
all of it, but certain rooms. The
yeah,
same with Windsor. There
yeah.
are certain rooms that you can see at Windsor. Sandringham is now open
Hmm.
for certain tours. Was it? And
That was brand
Balmoral.
new. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't they say you could tour Balmoral
Oh
and have
wait, yeah.
tea at Balmoral now?
Yes. Yeah.
So they are generating some of their own revenue for these purposes
Right.
too.
Right.
Quit your
Exactly.
wanking. Just quit your wanking. Just gonna put it out there.
I love it. Yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
today you got the I don't know, more upbeat Lady Amy on the matter. But yes, even I feel like on Friday when we talked about it, I was just like, it's not the same. It's like they're not related.
no, seriously.
Yeah.
So I am looking at my clock. My alarm's
Yep.
gonna go off in 3 minutes.
Yes.
I would love to. I have a tea coming up at the museum.
Okay.
I want to talk very briefly to those not aware. I want to spread the word that tea bags, like the ones that typically are used by Twinings, Bigelow, the white ones that you buy off the shelves, they typically have microplastics in them. It is time to switch to something healthier.
Yes.
Get the plastics out of your diet. Those of us who drink 2, 3, 10 cups of tea a day,
Right.
make sure that we're using good ones. And will Amy and I meet in February? I hope so.
Yes, we should be able to.
Yeah. So I am doing a museum tea on the 1st of March. I want to think I'd say
Okay.
it is. And the two teas I'm doing are warm vanilla green, and I am also doing the rose, a black rose tea because I liked it so
Oh,
much.
lovely.
So yeah, whether we exchange teas again,
Yes.
I don't know. We'll
Well,
decide.
we still have the fruit teas. We can go back to.
Well, that's true, except that I've had some.
That's okay.
I've had some of them, and my
I
son
love it.
wanted one of
Well,
them.
if
I'm
you
like, yeah,
have any, if you have any that you haven't tried yet, we'll try them.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Maybe I will send you some of,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
yes, or the Betty's tea. Look up Betty's, like I said, Betty's.
Betty's tea.
Oh,
Okay.
and I think this was one of my posts, and it's so much better. So my son,
Oh, was
because
that
he
the
was
Marks and
working at
Spencer
Target,
one?
yes, yeah, Marks and
Here,
Spencer.
I'm getting it. I'm right here. So I haven't put up Christmas yet. So the Christmas Village is like right over to my left.
Oh, okay, okay.
But this was the Marks and Spencer one last year.
Oh, they're different. Are they really? Oh, I thought maybe it was the same. That's lovely.
Yeah, yeah. So, and yeah, it like has the little light up, probably.
Has the lights. Yes.
Yeah, it's like
So
I can see
cute.
it.
It's so cute. And it
Yeah,
has,
yours
it has
is
a
really
lovely
cute.
tea. Did you see? I don't know if you saw my post.
I didn't get the new one this year. Yeah.
Yes.
So-
Sorry, I sent you the other thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sorry, you sent me a clock that's like way cooler. That's very fun. And
But my son also gave me the shortbread cookie. Did you see that on Instagram?
no.
Okay, so you hold on. My alarm's gonna go off in a
I
second.
love it. Okay.
It's
And
adorable.
yes, and then I also have one last show and tell. So for my company for promotional items, I'm gonna start using those more for Houses of Windsor. So I
Yes.
have a lip balm that is now
Oh,
Houses of
nice.
Windsor to give out.
Nice. Very
And
good.
it's blueberry cobbler. I
Oh,
thought that
nice.
was like
Nice.
as close to tea time
Sure.
appropriate.
Very good. Very
Yes.
good.
Okay. Oh my gosh. That's so cute.
There were 3 layers of the most delicious
Oh my
shortbread
gosh.
cookies in here.
That's great.
I grab one every afternoon
I
for my
love it.
tea.
Are they Walkers or something?
No, this is Marks and Spencer.
Oh, it's
This
Marks and Spencer. Oh,
it is.
lovely.
Here's the
That's so
front.
cute.
Isn't it adorable? It's so
Yeah.
cute. 10 Brulee.
Yeah, yeah.
Back.
That's so cute.
Love the little bagpipes back here. Here we go.
That's
Try.
so cute.
And the different characters. I love you got the punker back here.
Yes.
The kids,
Oh my gosh.
people having tea. Here's the little
That's so
shopper
great.
lady. And on this side, so here's your
Oh, that's like with this hat smushed.
yes,
It's
yes,
really
that's
cute.
your judge,
Yeah.
your peeler.
Oh
I
my
just,
gosh.
it is just such a cute, and
That's
it's
so
huge.
cute.
It's such a big tin too, and a lovely, lovely, lovely. So yeah, so I got this and the light up tin with the tea, and I
Man.
bought the Big Ben clock face with the orange Jaffa cookies,
Oh
and
yes.
a friend
Yes,
of mine
yes.
gave me the crown ornament. So
Yes.
I wrapped up, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know.
got-
It's like
yeah.
I need. Yeah, it's like Marks and Spencer has made gifting so easy.
Oh my gosh,
for
yes,
us. I'm
for
like, I need to
us.
get an older kid that can do her own shopping.
I know. He got a good discount on them too. I just gonna say so.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, listen, I better go because otherwise
Yes.
the bus will come and go, and
Yep.
my daughter will be.
You got to
crushed.
run
Yes,
without
I
falling
do.
on the ice.
Nigs, yeah, or slipping inside the car. No, it's all
Right.
good. It's all good. Well, good to see you. Good to talk with you. Good
Yes,
stuff.
it was
Good talk.
lovely.
And we'll set a date for sometime in February. Would be great.
Yes.
I'm coming down your way, but not to Orlando. I'm going to see my parents in Jacksonville. They are in assisted
Okay,
living
so
now.
not
It's time to clear the house, unfortunately.
okay.
It's
Gotcha.
time to stake claim to all the teacups and saucers in my mother's house.
Ah, yes. There you go.
Yes, yes. So I don't know where I'm gonna put them. I don't know where I'm gonna put them.
That's not. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that now. You just need to get
Just get my hands on
them in your possession, and then you'll figure it out later.
We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. All right, Amy. Good to see you again. Stay well, stay healthy.
Yes, thank you. All right,
All right.
cheery, bye.
Bye, guys.